Hey everybody, and welcome to Crafty Kiara. Today we are going to make a fall leaf garland, and I have it here behind me hanging up on the wall. So basically today's video is me showing you the technique behind making the leaves and to make them look a little bit more realistic with the paper, and some hacks that I came up with, or tips I should say, in order to make it easier to make so many leaves, and then how I stitch them onto the ribbon that it's attached to here. So I'm not making an entire thing over again, but I'm going to show you some of the things that I did in order to make this garland. Now I wanted to do something a little bit different. I didn't want to use the traditional just red, orange, and yellow and brown leaves that you get a lot of times when you buy the leaves at, say, the Dollar Tree or wherever. I wanted to do something a little bit different and use some different types of paper from my scrapbook collection. So a lot of these are just flower patterns, or like outdoorsy kind of patterns, and they had the right color scheme that I was looking for, like the red and orange. You got some browns, and then there was some darker colors that I did too with some patterns on it and such. So I wanted to give it a different look, and I think it went really well with the space I put in, which is my foyer, and it really pops against the mirror that's already there. And the mirror is kind of like a little, it's a wood, like a lighter wood color. So it really, brings it together. So this is pretty straightforward on how to make this. It's just a time-consuming project. So let's just go ahead and get started and see what you need for this and how I can help you make it a little bit faster. So you want to get your leaf templates. Now there's a ton of different leaf shapes online. You can find some and just cut them out. That's what I did here. And what you're going to do is you're going to make a template. So let me go ahead and show you that here. It may look a little weird right now, but what I did was I took a piece of scrapbook paper face down. Well, in this case it was a solid one. So I took a piece of solid scrapbooking paper, laid out my leaf shapes everywhere that I could, and I made a pattern. So for example, in this, we have our larger maple leaf here, and we've got some oak leaves here. So what I did was I tried to fit on as many as I could on a scrapbook size paper, which is 12 by 12. If you're using 8.5 by 11, you can also do the same thing. Your pattern will just be smaller. Now the reason why I want to do this is because I was making quite a few leaves. I didn't want to have to try to lay it out every time or try to get the right amount of leaves. If I was looking for a certain amount, I didn't want to have to keep trying to figure it out or lay it out differently. So I just went ahead and made a pattern. And you see there's some tape on here and there. When you do draw out your stencil, those are going to be missing, but you can just fill it in. It's only in certain spots. So this is one way you could do that to make your life easier, or if you want, you can go ahead and just trace it out each time on the different paper that you have. Now, some people do have machines that they can cut out their leaves if they have like a Sizzix or a Cricut or one of those. I don't have any of those. But if you have those, that's what you can do to make your template. So this is what I'm talking about when we talk about your leaf template. You can either go this route or just trace around your leaves. Now I did two different types of leaves. I did the oak and the maple, and they were 3 different sizes. That way I had a little bit of a contrast in type of leaf, but also size. So you're going to want to get your scrapbook paper as well. In this case, I have like a gold print, and it's plain on the back, and then I have a double-sided pattern one, and I decided that I wanted the leaf pattern here is going to be my main thing that I'm going to use. So I'll get back to this in just a second on how we're going to cut out the leaves. Now what you're going to need in order to hang your garland is you're going to need 5/8 inch ribbon, and it's going to be in the length that you need, and we'll talk about that again in a second. And then you're going to need 1/4 inch ribbon. You can do satin or grosgrain, whatever you want to do, any kind of color you want, because it depends entirely on what kind of paper you're using. You want to kind of keep with the color scheme. This worked out well with the different types of leaves and colors I did. It kept a fall look to it, and it looked good against the mirror that I ended up putting this against. And of course you're going to need your needle and thread. And some of the tools you're going to need, you're definitely going to need a glue stick for this project so you can glue your leaves together, because these are double-sided. You're going to have one type of paper on top of another. You're going to want to have scissors, of course. You're going to want to have a ruler And that's so you can cut out or cut the right size ribbon that we need for the project, because there's a couple different sizes that you're going to use. You're also going to want a scoring tool, and this is going to help us add some definition to the leaves to make them a little bit more ridges for the veins of the leaf. So you want to use your scoring tool, and you're going to want measuring tape. Now the reason why you want measuring tape is you're going to want to measure how long of a main piece you need. So for example, in my garland back here, the long piece that everything's hanging on is 43 inches. Now yours may be different. If yours hanging from a fireplace or a mantle, or you're doing it on a mirror, or you're just putting it on the wall or a door, you want to make sure how long that you really need. So in this case, I did 43 inches. So that's one of the measurements that's going to vary for you on this project. Now one of the other things you want to cut out with your ribbon, and the measurements can vary on this too, but for what I did, I had one 12-inch piece of the 1/4 inch, I had two 10-inch, I had two 8-inch, and those are going to make up these parts. So this is the 12, these are the 8s, they went in the middle, and then I had the 10s on the side, so that way it kind of made a little, almost like a maple leaf hanging down sort of look. And then you have two 3-inch pieces, and those are what's going to go up here to help you make the loop so you can attach your ribbon to the wall. Whether you use like command hooks, you can hook them on that way, push pins, nails, whatever you want to use, you have a handy dandy loop, and I'll show you how I did that as well. Alright, so let's get started. So here I have my two different types of scrapbooking paper I want to use. The patterns I want showing on the outside, they're going to go face to face right now. And the reason is because when we do our stencil, you'll have a white side up and you can see it. But also, when you put your leaves together, you want to make sure when you're cutting them that they line up when you put them together. And I'll show you that here in a second. And this is way easier than trying to lay down each leaf again and again and again, you know, unless you want to. So you can make it a little bit different. But this is how I found I can go ahead and mark all the sheets and then come back and cut them. So I got one maple there. Let me go ahead and do an oak leaf so I can show you how all that's going to come together. So here, I don't know if you can see on here, I have my shapes, and I'm just going to continue my stems here so they have the right shape. Now, what I recommend doing is cutting out the leaf so you just have one at a time that you're working on. Because if you're going to try to cut both pages at the same time and you're going to do all the leaves, it might slide around and then you end up with some weird overlap. Now see how when I was cutting that, this moved over? So I want to move that back into place and hold it and cut out. See, it moved on me, so you want to make sure you're very careful. Because otherwise, you're going to have like slightly off leaves. And we're going to cut out our leaves. Is I want to just slide this off. So this is the part we want facing out. So it's facing down. You're going to take your trusty glue stick and you're going to glue the whole thing. So that way you can put the other leaf on top. Now you're just going to take this and place it right on top of here. And it should be, if everything worked out right, the exact same cut and size. See? And I have a little bit of overlap over here, and you can just trim that up. Now yes, you could go ahead and like pre-glue the pages and cut them out and everything, but still, you know, if you have lumps in the glue or whatever, you may end up with some bubbles and stuff. So this way I feel it came out the best. It's the flattest. All the edges are down. If you find like an edge here, like that, it's not all the way down, just, you know, put a little glue on it. That's why I like using the glue stick. You could use like regular white glue, but it tends to be smeary. You could use hot glue, but that can be a little bit dangerous coming out on the edges. So I want to let this dry all the way before we score it. So we're going to go ahead and cut out our maple leaf. Alright, so now that your leaf is dry, we're going to go ahead and score it. So I have this scoring tool that I got from the Dollar Tree. It came in a 2-pack. If you don't happen to have this, just find something that has a an edge to it, but not sharp. You just want something that you can make your veins. So I recommend starting at the larger tip of the leaf and work your way towards the stem. Don't push super hard because you will actually rip the paper and it'll be a mess. And you want to make sure your glue is dry because it'll slide around and it'll be crazy. And if you start on this end, you're liable to suck, or pull, I should say. You're liable to pull the... if you start on this end, you're liable to pull the paper apart. So I like to start on the thicker part up here. So you're just going to make your vein line here. And I like to go over it a couple times for the center part because it's going to have more of a fold. And then I'm just going to go and make some veins going towards the center here from the different leaf parts. So once you have that, you're going to fold, but you're not making a crease. You're just kind of making a little bend. And it makes it a lot easier if you have it scored. And then you just see your score lines. You just kind of move the leaf that way. So then on this, I have a little needle. You can use a push pin. You can use whatever you want. And poke a hole into the stem part here of the leaf, and be careful, you don't stab yourself. Now the reason why I'm doing this hole is because this is going to be pivotal in us attaching it to the ribbon. And now you have your leaf. So I had some leftover leaves from before, so I'm going to be able to use these to show you how you're going to do your ribbon. So you want to start, I want to say you want to start with the center ribbon here. And what you're going to want to do, first off, is you're going to want to determine the center of your hanging ribbon. How I did that was I made a little loop here. And then I fed it to the center point of the ribbon. And you can also do something like this too. Now yours will be longer. This is just, I'm showing you for an example how I was attaching stuff. So I have that there, and then I'm just going to make a quick stitch here to attach it to that point, just to hold it in place. And now you have your center point. Now what you want to do is you want to attach a leaf. So let's take our leaf we just made, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch it on here. So what I'm going to do is, let me go ahead and get the needle going here. And I'm going to take, put the needle through the hole I made in the paper, and put your leaf straight down. You're going to pull the thread up, and now go off the side of it here, right off the side. I don't know if you can see it 100%. Right off the side. And then you're going to pull. So now you're going to have your thread going off the edge of the leaf into the ribbon. Now you're going to pull, and you're going to come up on the other side of the leaf here. See, it's not going through it. It's on the side. You're coming up through the ribbon, and you're on the side. And you're going to pull up, and then you're going to go back through the hole that's in the leaf and pull down. So now you have your stitch going across the leaf. So you had it come up one way, go down, come back up, and go back through the center again. Now you can just knot your thread back here because you already have that leaf attached. Our first leaf to start going down. Now what I did was I would flip it over. I'd find a contrasting leaf. In this case, let's use this one. It's got different colors and it's a different leaf altogether, and it's different size. Now you could use a smaller maple leaf right there. However, whatever leaf structure you have. I want it to overlap a little bit, so I'm going to go part way here. Stick the needle through there. Go ahead and attach your leaf through the hole you made. So really simple. So now you see we have a stitch line. And you can turn it over. It's going to get a little more complicated as you add more leaves, but you'll develop a little bit more of a pattern of how you're doing it as you go. It looks like this. And as you can see, you can put another leaf here, and then you've got the back side. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go back on the front. Let's pick a smaller leaf this time to add some contrast. So the last thing I want to show you before I show you on the other one, because you're going to continue making your things, is how to make the end loop. I'm going to fold this over about a 1/2 inch, okay? And we're going to stitch a quick little stitch here. So the reason why I do it like this is because we're going to feed Now this is the 3-inch piece of the 1/4-inch ribbon, and we're going to make a little loop, and that way you can hang it up easy without having like a big loop to deal with. So what you want to do is you want to put the 3-inch piece in here, and you're going to loop it over. You're going to overlap it probably about 1/4 inch. And then you're going to stitch it so you make your nice little loop here. And then what you can do is once you do that, you rotate it so your stitch part is hidden inside that loop. Your end is hidden inside there, and now you have your loop so you can hang. So let me show you the completed project here. And here I have my leaves. So this one here is the 12-inch piece, and as you can see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leaves. Now I didn't make any sort of specific amount of leaves or say that you have to use a certain amount of leaves, because it's going to vary and it's going to depend on how you put on there and how much you space them and how it looks when you hang it up, because I would do some and then hang it up and look at it and see if it was something that was covering right, or if it looked right, or if I needed a different leaf or a different color somewhere. So as you can see, all of these are stitched on and they're front to back. Some of these are different sizes, and you can see I kind of went smaller as I went down, and then on some of these there's a bigger leaf towards the bottom. You can mix it up. So hopefully you guys were able to see kind of the technique I used to make this, and it was something that might inspire you to do your own leaf garland. I did not want to do the traditional one, which the leaves were all spread out across here. I wanted to do something a little bit different, so I wanted to have them hang down. And it's something that you can make that's completely unique to you, depending on what kind of paper you use, and patterns and stuff that you have available for you, or even what kind of ribbon you use. I use some double-sided satin and some gross grain here. Again, you can even add more if you wanted to. In between might be a little bit heavy. I kind of wanted the lighter visual here. But it came out pretty good. Again, you just kind of move it around and make it look right. So that is all for today's video. Please like and subscribe to our channel. Follow us on social media at all the links that are available down below. And keep an eye out for even more craft videos that are coming soon. So that's all. So I will see you guys next time. If you liked what you saw in the video, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube here. You can also follow us on social media. You can also follow us and check out our blog at craftykiara.com. And of course, you can go check out our shop on Etsy for Crafty Kiara Shop. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the next video.